Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you new here, my name is Donna, and for those of you not new, thank you so much for continuing to come back and support your girl here. I today am doing my 19 and 2019 finale. Yes, folks, this is the finale video in which I talk to you about my 19 products I chose in 2019 to finish off and how big of a failure I am. I'm just kidding. I actually think I did a really good job. I think I did better than I did last year with my 18 products in 2018. I think I have them all here except for one which I have lost. I'm not sure what happened to it. So I'm going to start with the products that I finished. A lot of these I finished really early in this, so you will have seen that in all of the update videos. I'm just not sure what happened to that other product. It's just a teeny tiny guy, so it could be anywhere. I mean, really, looking around this room, it could be anywhere. I'm going to start with the products I finished. So we can start this video with me feeling like a giant winner today. The first thing on my list to talk about that I finished, and this was actually relatively early in this project that I finished this. As a matter of fact, I think that when I had started this project, I had already taken the stopper out of this item, and it is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Weightless Complete Coverage Concealer. This is a great concealer. I really liked this concealer. It was pretty emollient. I really did love it, and it went on pretty effortlessly. There wasn't a whole lot that I had to do to make it look great. It looked good on my under eyes, which I don't find a whole lot of, like, people's favorite oh my god, the Tarte Shape Tape, which is everybody's favorite, looks horrible on my under eyes. This didn't. I really didn't like the doe foot on this guy though. It is just a flat, like, fluffy paddle, and I didn't like that. This was a really good color for me. It's in light neutral, and I love this concealer. I haven't repurchased it though because I have so many concealers to go through right now, so I haven't repurchased that, but it was a good thing to have in my collection for its time, as well as in my project pan. It was, like I said, one of the first things that I panned in this project. This is the Physicians Formula Murmur Butter Bronzer. This was this guy's second year in my project, and when I started it in 2018, which was my first project pan, it had a little tiny bit of baby pan. And when I started it in this one, it did have a good amount of pan in it, but still a lot of product, you guys. There is a ton of product in this pan. 11 grams of product in these guys. This is probably hands down my favorite bronzer of all time. It smells, the pan still smells like coconut. I haven't repurchased it because I have a drawer full of bronzers, and I just can't. It's really inexpensive. It is a drugstore item, so even though it's on the higher end of drugstore pricing, it is still well worth the money. I haven't tried the blushes in this line. I haven't tried the highlighters in this line. I would love to one day, but again, I have a whole drawer full of blushes and highlighters, so I'm not in the market to purchase any more right now. But because I love this bronzer so much, I would be willing to spend a little bit of coin just to get those. The one thing I didn't like about it is the packaging on this is just really, it's just crap. It's pretty bulky, and my little dude here that kept it shut broke pretty quickly into its tenure in my collection. And underneath it had a nice little mirror, which I thought was great. It was a great mirror to do my makeup with. But it also had like an applicator of some sort. I think it was a foam applicator. It was just really weird. So I don't typically use the applicators that come in these drugstore makeup items anyway, so I toss them in the trash right away. But it broke, and I was pretty ticked off that it had broken. I think that's why I initially put it into my project pan, because even though it was a great bronzer, the contraption that it was in broke. All right, the next thing I have in here that I finished, and I believe this is this guy's second time in as well. This is the Hard Candy Color Correcting Expert Stick, and as you guys can see, it is completely gone. I did take like a spatula and dig it out of there, a brush, I dug it in there to get it out. It was a great color correcting stick in its time. I don't like it as well as some of the liquid or creamier versions of the color sticks or of the color correcting products that I do have. It wasn't super cakey, which I enjoyed, and it didn't take a lot of effort to cover it up once it was on my skin. Sometimes with color correctors, you do take great pains to actually cover the color that it is to cover the color on your face. It didn't take great pains to do that with this guy, which I appreciated, but it also didn't cover much. I have pretty horrendous under eyes, so I have a really, I have really high hopes for my color correctors. This one, it just wasn't it. I used it a lot as a cover up, like a concealer almost, more than I did anything else, because it just didn't have the coverage that I wanted for the dark circles under my eyes. But it was decent. I mean, it was probably worth the, I think, $2.50 I paid. You can a lot of times get these hard candy products at Walmart 2 for $5, so like I can't bitch, right? The next thing I finished was this. It was the Pure Exfo lips. This little white plastic piece there is just that. It's just plastic, but it is entirely gone. I did like this. It did do a great job of exfoliating my lips, but if you watch the intro to this series, I had a hard time with it because it kind of hurt. Like the crystallized sugar, the whatever it is in there, the sugar pieces, the whatever it is that's exfoliating your lips, it kind of hurts. So I would put it on my lips and then wipe it almost immediately off if I like tried to put my lips together at all. It felt like little tiny razor blades on my lips. So I did have a hard time using this. As a matter of fact, I think I just completely used it up not that long ago because it hurt. I have better lip exfoliators that don't hurt, that do a better job because I'm able to, you know, kind of move them around on my lips without it hurting. So this is not a product I would ever repurchase. Pure and I kind of have a love-hate relationship. I like a lot of one of my favorite foundations is made by Pure, but also one of my least favorite highlights is made by Pure. So there's that. And the next thing I have in here is this. I finally remembered what it was that I put into this project pan. I think you have like 2 updates with me saying, I don't know what it was. I think it was this. It is the Cover FX Custom Enhancer Drops, and these are in the shade Sunset. You guys, I used the poop out of these, and the reason why I put this into my project pan is because it gets gross. It gets so gross. And the fact that it gets gross is detrimental to it because it just gets everywhere because it gets so gross. Like I found like some of the product like seeping up around this section where it's got the, you know, little siphoning dude there. It's just, it gets so gross. But I did use all the product. So here's what I can tell you though. To get the rest of the product out of here, I had to like dump it into another pot because I didn't find that this was getting all the product up that I wanted to. And that's kind of the problem that I have with these kind of applicators. I have actually a Perricone MD like deep crease serum that I just threw into my empties for the same reason. There's still quite a bit of product down at the bottom and you just can't get to it because of the siphoning system in here. It doesn't go all the way to the bottom. Because if it did, sometimes it would just suction itself to the bottom of the device, right? So we know that it can't go all the way to the bottom. But because of that, there was still so much product left in the bottom of this that I dumped it into another container. Well, when I dumped it into another container, that container like seeped oil. It was the weirdest thing. I set it onto my vanity, which is a glass top. This is the glass top. Set it onto my vanity, and the next day when I came in and went to use it, I picked the container up off of my vanity, and it was like almost suctioned to it because it was like sitting in like a puddle. So I didn't think anything of it, wiped it away, used my product, set my product back on top of my glass top vanity, and then the next day came in and it was sitting in a puddle again. And I'm like, what in the F is going on with this product? I think it gets so messy because the construction of it, whatever's in it that makes it, the oiliness of it, the liquidation form of it just gets everywhere. It gets everywhere. But if this wasn't such a messy product, if there was an easier way to use this or to package it to get it out, I would continue to use it. I loved this product. I would put 1 or 2 drops in my foundation almost every single day and mix it up, and it gave like this perfect amount of bronzy glow to it. It was beautiful. I love this product, but I will never repurchase it again just because of the sheer mess of the product. The next thing I have that I finished was this. It is just a random eyeliner that I put in here, and I put it in here because I hated using it as an eyeliner. I learned in 2018 not to put products into my project pan that I hated using, but what I found with this prior to putting it into my project pan this year was that I liked using it on the tail of my brow, and that's actually how I ended up using this product up, was as a brow pencil. It was on the eye, it would smudge, it would go everywhere, it would travel. It traveled into the inner corners of my eyes, which I hate from some eyeliners. I think it's just a random like JCat Beauty or I don't even know. I'm not even going to pretend to know. It's just a random dark brown eyeliner. And I ended up using it in my brow tail because even though it liked to travel and smudge, if I used it in my brow tail and then went over it with a brow gel, it was solid. It stayed. And I didn't have problems with it wanting to travel all over my face. So that is how I ended up using this up. I also used up the Revlon Color Stay eyeliner in Amethyst. This was a Christmas present from my boyfriend the year I started getting into makeup, and my daughter talked him into buying me a purple eyeliner, and he was like, no, she doesn't wear purple eyeliner. I did wear purple eyeliner. I liked purple eyeliner. I still like purple eyeliner. I do not like this purple eyeliner. It's not, I wish there was maybe a little bit left. There is nothing left of it. It didn't function very well as an eyeliner because it wasn't very opaque. There wasn't a whole lot of color payoff to it. The pigmentation of it was crap. I used it in an eye look the other day, and you couldn't even tell I was wearing an eyeliner. It just blended in with the pastel purple that was on my face from this palette, which is not a great palette, and we will get there. Stay tuned for my palette roulette video on that NYX Air. The best part about these Revlon Color Stay pencils, because I used to love these used to be my favorite, is that they don't travel. They don't travel a whole lot, which I loved. So Color Stay, they actually do Color Stay, but it is the smudger that's on the bottom of the pencil. But what I found with this one in particular is that it actually is also, it doubles as an eraser because it would erase, it would erase this pencil. But the brown ones and the black ones I've used in this same line, they're beautiful, they're wonderful, and this smudger is awesome for like getting it onto your waterline and then just smudging out that line right along the external part of your waterline. I loved the black and the brown one in this line, but I did not love this purple one. Another one that I completed, so y'all, we're still on the ones that I finished up. Another one that I finished up was this Tarte Lights Camera Lashes mascara. Tarte is not my favorite mascara, and I did have 2 little tiny like sample size mascaras from Tarte that I thought I'd throw into this project. I was able to finish this one. This mascara gets really chunky and I really don't like it. But of the Tarte mascaras, I think this and the Lash Paint are probably my favorite of the 2, but I don't like Tarte mascaras. I have a hard time with Tarte mascaras. They flake on me, they land on my cheekbone, they become very like raccoon eye-esque for me. I just don't have a great time with Tarte mascaras. So this was a painstaking project, but I did finish this one, so I was super happy about that. And then we have this, which is the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Corrector. This is gone, but I did use it as a tub for a cream contour stick that I was almost out of. If you guys are familiar with my videos, I used a dual ended like Smashbox foundation concealer or foundation contour stick, and I hated the foundation, but I liked the contour. The contour stick was awesome, but I was done with the foundation, so I wanted something to put my contour stick in, so I just grabbed this out of my little empties bucket. You guys, there are 2 buckets here, and I kept the empties in one and the product I was still using in the other. And I grabbed this out of the bucket and put that contour stick into it. So this is not the product. This was a product that I emptied also pretty quickly in this project pan, and it is a product that I repurchased because I do love this under eye corrector. Unlike this one here, it actually corrects. I feel like it actually, you can see like a brightening effect under my eye. The one thing I don't like as much about this one that I did like about this one is this one can feel a little bit greasy. I do have to work harder to cover it, but with that being said, it also covers up the discolorations under my eyes. So you win some, you lose some, I guess. But I did finish this off. Probably the biggest surprise to me and anybody else who knows me who knew I was putting this into my project pan was this item here. This is a cream blush by IT Cosmetics in the shade Abu, and it is just a little tiny, I got it in a Birchbox that a friend of mine gave me because she doesn't do makeup, and she gave me like 6 Birchboxes that had came to her, and this was a product inside of it, and I put it in here as a complete product. It had never been touched. I think I had touched it to swatch it, but that was about it. I really didn't see myself using it much, let alone using it up. I loved this blush. Loved this blush. I was really super sad that I finished it up. As a matter of fact, I have a Peak palette that I got from FabFitFun that I think has another one of these blushes in it that I might just go pull out and use this lid to cover it as a single blush product in my collection because I loved this blush. This was the gateway drug for me getting into more cream products and finding cream products that I absolutely loved. It was also how I actually learned to put like cream blushes and contours and stuff like that on my face better, because prior to putting this into my project pan, I had only played with cream products a few times and really didn't like them. So this was a shocker to me, but I absolutely loved this blush. It was the perfect color of like coral and pink mixed and had a little bit of iridescence to it, so I could wear it on its, it was like Too Faced's Papa Don't Peach only in a cream form. So pretty, so pretty. So those are all the items I finished, you guys, and there are quite a few. I finished 10 of my 19 products, which I'm super happy about because I finished more than half. Another product I was able to finish, but I didn't finish the whole stick, so I can't call it a totally finished product, but I can call it an almost finished product, is this one, and it is the Wet n Wild dual-ended contour stick. And the contour in is the one I finished. I love this contour stick. I think it actually fell into my favorite items of 2018 as well. The one that I didn't finish was this side, which is the highlight stick, which you guys can see. I actually got through so much of this product. I'm actually pretty happy with what is left of this product. The bad news is this has been in my collection now for a couple years, so I'm not sure I will hold on to this highlight stick. It's just not one I grab for all the time. I did use it today. It is on my under eyes today. It's just not one I grab for. It can tend to lean a little bit greasy. It does brighten a little bit, but it's nothing spectacular, and I just have other items that I use. Like, it's not like a sparkly highlighter, it's just like a brightening highlighter, and I have other items in my collection that I prefer to use. So this item is halfway finished. Most of the way finished, I would say. I would say 3/4 finished, and I will probably just toss it in the trash can. This and this are also products I almost finished. These are the e.l.f. Liquid, obviously, highlights. And this one is in Lilac Petal, and this one is in Spotlight, and they are beautiful. They're just very strange. This one I would say is probably more gone than this one. This one I can still fill quite a bit in. This one I can't hardly fill anything in. This one I am wearing on my face today. It does give a really pretty highlighty effect, but I will get rid of them. They've been in my collection now for going on 3 years. I got these as a free item in my very first e.l.f. purchase, which was probably March, almost 3 years ago. And they're beautiful. They're just weird. When you first push some out onto like a palette or whatnot, like all this liquid comes out, and it's the iridescence part of the liquid, the iridescence part of the highlighter. If not for that part, it wouldn't be a highlighter. It would just be a cream that you put all over your face. Then the cream part comes out, and you have to mix it all together to actually get kind of the highlighter-esque nature of them. This one, because I've used it more, is a little better about pre-mixing in the tube. Like when I shake it, I can get it pretty much mixed together, but the cream I think is just too thick to mix with the liquid part of it in the tube to make it the way you want it to be when it first comes out. I think it's too thick because it's not mixing with the liquid part in the tube. So it's like, you know, you win some, you lose some with both of these. I will throw both of these away. They are too old. This one I haven't used much of. These are my two like lines, I think, that you guys can see. And looking through like the lighting system, I want to say that second line is still where it sits. This one, looking through the lighting system, is sitting about here. So I did use quite a bit of this one. This one is the one that I would say, you know, resembles this one. It's 3/4 of the way done. This one is more so not so done, but I did use them quite a bit. This is a product I also used quite a bit of. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it because it is a powder, but when you look at it, there's a nice like shadow of where the product sits, and maybe on the back. Maybe can you see it on the back better? All right, so the product sits about here. This was a completely full product when I put it into my project. Can you see it? Maybe. Maybe. Okay, it was the perfect other highlight to this one. This one is just in the shade bronzer, so it was their original shade. It is a lighter shade of bronzer, and it is great for me when I have less of a tan, I would say, or less of my olive complected nature comes out. This one was perfect for like during the summer months. I will say I am also wearing this today. I like this product. I don't know why I quit using this product. Bare Minerals was one of the very first makeup brands that, you know, high-end prestige makeup brands that I ever bought into. And I'm sad that I forgot how awesome this bronzer is. It is a little bit red in tone, which I don't think suits me 100% of the time, but today it looks good, I think. I will probably keep this in my collection just because there's not much left in it, and I think I will be able to put it into next year's project pan and definitely get it used up really quickly. And I'm really pleased with the progress that I made on this particular item in the project, because I didn't know if I was going to be able to make that kind of progress. A loose powder is a little harder to use just because there's so much of it, and there's just not much left. And it was pretty full when I put it into this project. I think probably 3/4 full, and now it's probably sitting at an easy 1/4 full. Some items that I didn't use a lot of or didn't use at all are all that's left. The one that I can't find because I don't know where it went is the Benefit Posy Tint. It was just the little tiny like liquid blush item that I had in this. It was a super, super tiny sample size of the Benefit Posy Tint. And I will tell you I didn't use it much because I didn't really like the application process of it. It was a brush instead of like a doe foot. And the brush was great sometimes and not great other times. And I felt like when you put the product onto an area, like if I used the brush and put the brush onto my cheek, I would have a strip of pink and then it would blend out, but I would still have that strip of pink. So I didn't use it. I think I used it maybe twice. It worked really well as a like lip stain, but at the same time was way too pink for me to use as a lip stain. The next item that I used a little bit, but not much, is this one, and it is the Ulta Beauty Tinted Eye Primer. You guys, I used this today as a blush. I don't know. I think it's a beautiful blush. I think it's a beautiful blush. I might start using it as a blush. This whole time I've been trying to get wrap my head around using it as an eye primer, and I like it as an eye primer because it is really pretty, but it's so sticky and things just don't really blend well on top of it. It is beautiful on its own. That is it. It's beautiful on its own, so I would use it and tap it all over my eye, but then my eyes felt super greasy and I wasn't able to put any kind of eyeliner on top of it because it's greasy. But I did use it as a blush today, and I kind of like it as a blush. So stupid. But this is the product. It just has a really pretty like metallic-iness to it, which makes it look beautiful on the eyelid on its own. I think that also lends to why I kind of love it as a blush, because it gives that little like hint of highlight all over the cheeks, like really glowy highlighty all over the cheeks. This is it like blended out. You guys can see it, like just the luminosity of it is just so pretty, and I really dig it as a blush. It's super natural. I think they marketed this wrong. I think they should market it as a cream blush. I love it. I think it's beautiful as a blush, and I'm going to keep it in my collection for that purpose. I was going to keep it in my collection anyways as an eye primer because I really do like it. I just like it on its own all over the lid. I think it's much more beautiful as a cream eye product than I feel it is as an eye primer. I don't think it works well as an eye primer because, like I said, everything sticks to it. You have to set it, and that defeats the purpose of setting it. So as a blush, sure. As a cream eyeshadow, sure. As an eye primer, not so much, but I will be keeping this in my collection. The next 3 products I did not use at all. So with that being said, we have 10 products that I used up entirely. I'm so proud of myself for that. 3 that I use, 2 of which I'm keeping in my collection. One of them is missing, so not really sure, but didn't use much. We have 2 products that are easily like 3/4 of the way full, and one, I guess this is one that wasn't used up very much too. These 3 I didn't use at all. Okay, maybe once or twice-ish. This is If you guys are familiar, you know that this was going to be a stretch for me. This is the e.l.f. Molten Liquid Eyeshadow, and it is in the shade Brushed Copper, and it looks more like a gold. But with that being said, it looks like nothing on your skin. It's a really pretty shade that you would think would be like a beautiful liquid eyeshadow. I think it was also marketed as a primer. You put it on your lid, anything that's underneath it is going to disappear. It is going to disappear, and then you look like you're walking around with naked lids, but all this other makeup in your brow bone and beyond, and it's just not cute. Then I tried to use it as a highlight, and I just feel like it could work well. It could double as a makeup remover, because when I used it as a highlight, it would take off all the, you know how that Posy tin I said I would have a straight pink line and some pink, you know, buffed out on my cheeks, but I would have that straight pink line. With this product, if I used it as a highlight from like here to here, I would have a straight line of absolutely nothing on my face. Absolutely nothing on my face. It only stayed like this for a very short period of time, maybe a couple hours, and then it looked like it had eaten all the makeup underneath it away, in addition to it. The next thing I did not use at all, didn't use it at all, this is the Tarte Lifted Mascara. It is a brown mascara, and even though I hadn't opened it really at all until I went to use it, it is really dry. It's really dry, and honestly, I don't love brown mascaras enough to care whether I use this or not. I'm glad that it is just a little tiny sample size. My daughter loves this mascara. It's probably one of her favorites. I don't get it. I don't get it though, because I've never used it. Maybe it is fantastic. I don't love it. I don't like brown mascaras. The like claim to fame for this one is that it is not going to go anywhere. It is sweat proof, which I think is fantastic, but I don't like to sweat, so I'm not going to do anything that makes me sweat, at least not on purpose. So there's that. I don't feel like I need it, and now it's at the point where it's just dried up and gross, so it'll go in the trash can. My 8-year-old daughter has already claimed this guy, so otherwise it would also go into the trash can. This is the last item I have, and it is the Becca Hydra Mist Set and Refresh Powder. It is the powder that I talked about in a favorites at one point in time because its sensation is really cool. It's powder, and it's got this little, like, I just wanted to come out all over. It has this little, like, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's like a mesh of some sort, and it's really actually kind of cool. I have it all over me now, but it's really actually kind of cool. You dip your brush onto that mesh and you kind of get some powder onto your brush and you put it on your face, and the first few times you use it, even though it's a powder, it feels like water. It feels like you are putting water on your face, and I thought that that was the coolest thing. And it was the coolest thing. It was the best sensation. It was just so odd, like unexpected and rare and odd. And it was actually a pretty good powder, but it didn't matter how tight I got this lid or that the lid was on correctly. It dries up really fast. It doesn't feel like water after about, I don't know, 4 or 5 uses. It doesn't feel like water anymore. And the powder, something happens to it. It doesn't look great anymore on your skin once you have lost that. Once you've lost that love-in feeling. Once you've lost that sensation of water, of putting water on your face, it doesn't look good on your face anymore. So I had used it a few times prior to putting it into my project and thought it was going to be an easy one to use because it is just a little tiny sample size, but it just wasn't one I ever reached for. What's funny about this is that at GMC I got a full size of this, and I am wondering if this one dried up simply because of the little tiny nature of it, or if it would last longer if it were a full-size version. I'm just not sure. So we have 7 products, if you count the Posy tint, because I can't find it, that are going into the trash can. And this one actually is going to my daughter. She's already laid claim to it, so I'm going to pull that out. But still, we have 7 products that are leaving my collection, finished or not. I have 2 of them that are staying in my collection. I will probably put this one into a project pan next year, but this one I will probably repurpose. It'll become a blush because I kind of love it as a blush. And then I have 10 products that I completely finished up. I think I did a stellar job. I am really excited about how I finished this project pan. Last year's project pan, 18 and 2018, hot mess. But it was my first project pan, so I have to be proud of the work that I did and what I learned from that project pan this year. I think it was a success. I think it was a good success. So next year's project pan, I'm kind of going back and forth with how I'm going to do it. What I loved about this project pan was that I was able to complete so much, and I put a lot into this project pan that I knew I would be able to use because I liked it. I liked the product. I also put stuff into this project pan that I really wasn't sure about. So I really didn't, that pink blush, I had no intentions of touching that. Honestly, I can say that coming out of the project pan, I had no intentions of touching that. Didn't think it was going to be one of the items that I finished up for the year, honestly. But I think I had a good plan going into this one. What I'm wondering is if you guys would prefer next year more of a rolling project pan, and if you've seen those, and if they're successful. I am thinking about doing like 5 to 7 products next year in a project pan, and as I finish them, putting another product in, because I found that when I finished these products, I wanted to put more products in. I found that when I finished this blush and got to the point where I didn't know if I wanted to use this blush yet, I finished a whole nother bronzer. I finished a whole nother bronzer in between this one and this one. So like it would have been cool to put that into my project pan as well. So that's what I think I'm going to work on next year, is a 5 to 7 item rolling project pan, and as I finish items, putting another one in, just so that I can see how many items I have finished throughout the lifespan of my project pan. That is what I have for you guys today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that if you did, that you're considering giving it a big thumbs up. Let me know if you've done a project pan down in the comments section. I would love to know what products you have panned. I would love to know what products you intend to pan next year. I would also love to know what you think of a rolling project pan for next year for my channel. I hope that you also consider subscribing to my channel before you go. I typically upload content 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I would love to have you along for this crazy ride of mine. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope your December is going superbly, and that you had a very happy holiday, and that you are absolutely going to have an amazing new year. And until next time, bye guys.